In this video, we will see how to set up GDPR on a website built with Framework360. To set up GDPR on this site, for example, which we have built for this tutorial, we need to go to the sidebar on the left and look for customization. Here, we will find the plugins section, where all the plugins or functionality expansions for our environment are gathered. In this search, we could indeed look for GDPR, and as we can see, we will have the option to install a fully functional plugin to make our website GDPR compliant. We click on Install and click on OK. And as we can see, a section called Plugin Preferences will have opened on the left, which will indeed contain all the settings of the plugins we have installed. As we can see, indeed, after the installation of GDPR, we will have its preferences here. We click on GDPR Preferences and go to see all the settings that this plugin offers us. First of all, we will have the option to display the banner, the classic banner that appears for cookie acceptance. By clicking on Save, as we can see here, reloading the page of our website, the banner to accept cookies will appear. Let's move on. We will indeed have the option to hide the banner by selecting this setting. By doing so, as we can see, the banner will disappear, in case we want to keep it hidden for some reason during a phase. Now let's put it back. Let's move on. Here we could decide where to make the banner appear. We could place it at the bottom of the page, as we indeed saw here. On our website, it is at the bottom. We can place it in the center. Let's see how it appears. Here it is, in the center. We could also place it at the top of the page. Reloading the page, as we can see, the banner will have appeared at the top. Let's put it back at the bottom, like on almost all websites. Here we will also have the option to hide the settings icon. What is it? Basically, Framework360 allows, through this plugin, to always have the GDPR settings available once the cookies are accepted. In fact, if I click Accept, as we can see here on the left, there will always be a visible icon that, if clicked, will allow you to view all the cookies and disable them at a later time. Let's go back to the settings. Here, in fact, we will have the option to hide that icon. Moving forward, we can change the text of the Accept button. By default, it appears as Accept All, but we could also just put Accept, for example, without the word All. As we can see, reloading the page, it will only show Accept. We can decide the style of the button, whether to set it as primary, secondary, success, etc. Success is usually the green color, and as we can see, it will appear green. The colors, we remember, are taken from the customization preferences, and as we can see, we will have the option to decide the colors, primary, secondary, success, etc., even choosing them in a color picker. These can be considered the global colors of the website. So when we change these, we change the colors for the entire site. The button preferences, on the other hand, are here. As we can see, we could change the border radius, that is, the rounding of the buttons, etc. In this case, we leave it as primary. Here, we could decide where to place the button, either on the right or left. As we can see, we could also add the reject button by setting visibility to show button style. In this case, we could set it to secondary. As we can see, reloading the page, it will appear on the left since we chose to place the accept button on the left and then reject on the right. It's always advisable to place it on the right because most people who, for example, use a smartphone operate the phone with their right hand, and consequently, it will be more convenient to press the accept button. As we all know, cookies are extremely important for marketing purposes. Let's move on. Here, in the acceptance settings, we could decide to enable the functionality that allows accepting cookies by scrolling the page. That is, if I enable this functionality and reload the page, as we can see, if I scroll the page, the banner will automatically disappear and accept the cookies on our behalf. Here we can also decide to notify the user about acceptance via scrolling. In fact, as we can see, a string is added here that says by continuing to browse, you automatically accept the use of cookies. Moving forward, we could also decide to automatically enable all functional, statistical, and marketing cookies, even before the user accepts them via the appropriate button. Be careful, because both the automatic acceptance feature and the automatic enabling of cookies automatically make the website, let's say, non-compliant with GDPR. In fact, as we can see, Framework360 warns us that if we decide to activate this feature, we must declare that we are aware that this option is not compliant with the European GDPR regulation. These features exist because they might be useful at certain times, for example, during the implementation of the Facebook Pixel, or perhaps for analytics or other tools that require us to perform tests. The GDPR plugin might create moments where we don't understand if the cookies have been activated or not. So, with this automatic acceptance feature, we can work more smoothly and calmly moving forward. As we can see, there will be the Cookies tab. In this section, the GDPR plugin shows all the cookies that have been automatically activated on our website. As we can infer, this plugin is extremely powerful and allows the website to become GDPR compliant with just a few clicks. In fact, this list updates automatically as visitors start browsing the website, and all the cookies that have been placed in the user's browser during navigation will be shown. Obviously, the user will also have the ability to manage it and view them at any time during their browsing. Moving on to the Modules tab, we can manage the checkboxes that automatically appear in the various modules of the website, such as I have read and accept the privacy policy, which will appear at checkout. As we can see by opening the checkout page, we always find it under the website page. We see that after installing the GDPR plugin, this checkbox, I have read and accept the privacy policy, has been added. Moving forward, here there will also be the possibility to manage the checkbox in the various forms. The forms include all the various forms, such as the registration form, where we can see, for instance, I have read and accept the privacy policy. The GDPR plugin will handle everything automatically, so there's no need for us to do anything. From here, we can obviously manage all its settings. The last available tab is the video overlay. See, in practice, obviously YouTube or Vimeo also inject cookies into the browsers of users browsing our website. Consequently, since they are American companies, they are not GDPR compliant. As a result, the GDPR plugins from Framework360 activate a box over the videos that displays this message. You're seeing this notice because the service, clearly this is a shortcut that takes the name of the service in question, such as YouTube or Vimeo, uses third-party cookies. To view this content, enable cookies by clicking on Accept in the cookie bar or open the preferences. If we want to see how this box appears, we can indeed see that in the preview video found on this demo site. By clicking on the YouTube button, the system will block the ability to view the video and will also clearly block all YouTube cookies until we click on Accept, or, of course, open the preferences and directly accept. As we can see, the video will now work. Great. Let's move on and see under GDPR plugin preferences that there is another section called Acceptance History. In this section, we will be able to see who has accepted the cookies and thus have a history of acceptances. Obviously, when a user registers on our website, we will also have their privacy acceptance record during registration. In fact, if I enter my data in the client area during registration and click that I have read and accept the privacy policy, the date and time of my acceptance will appear in my record. This is precisely to avoid disputes from clients who do not remember having left their data on our website. Finally, if we want to manage the cookie policy and privacy policy pages, Framework360 provides us with these two preset pages that we can easily modify to suit our business. For example, if we access the Pages section of the website, we will find the cookie policy. Here it is, with the type labeled as legal and the privacy policy. The same goes for the privacy policy, also labeled as legal. In fact, by clicking on the privacy policy here, we can manage our entire privacy page and add it through the link we see at the top /privacy policy to any part of our website. The cookie policy page is also created by default by Framework360, which provides it to us, and we can modify it at any time. As we can see, a number of services are collected, including the Framework360 infrastructure, which is Amazon Web Services, and all the various links to the privacy policy of different services like Twitter, Facebook, etc. If we want to insert these links within, for example, our footer, as we can see here, we need to access the footer, which we usually keep within global blocks. With the footer type, here it is, as we can see By clicking, we remember that global blocks are blocks that can be repeated throughout the site and modified from a single section, so they are very convenient to use. And here we see the footer type that is automatically repeated at the bottom of the entire site. Here we could click and manage the link for the privacy policy. And for example, if we want to add the cookie policy, we could indeed add the link for the privacy policy by doing, for example, /privacy policy, save it, and for the cookie policy, we would put /cookie policy. Okay, we save the global block, and as we can see, by reloading the page, both the privacy policy and the cookie policy will have appeared, and by clicking on them, the visitor to our website will always be able to clearly read our legal pages.